it's officially the conclusion of mandatory minicamp. As we all know, that Mike Vrabel did say in his press conference that he will not have Wednesday for a mandatory minicamp. So today was the final day of mandatory minicamp, and as usual, we're gonna be discussing some takeaways from day 2 of mandatory minicamp, and we're going to be reacting some of the quotes on from Mike Vrabel's press conference, with along with some of the players' press conferences right here, right now on NE Patriots Talk. Let's go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition here of the NE Patriots Talk channel. Hope you guys are having an awesome day on this fine rainy day up in Boston, Massachusetts. And yeah, how are we doing today, Thomas?
Good, thanks for asking. Just eating my dinner.
Well, that's fine. But today, as I mentioned in my little intro, we will be getting into the final days recap from mandatory minicamp, and there are also some roster moves after practice. So this is going to be really interesting, as it was confirmed that Wes Schweitzer has retired from the NFL. So that leaves a spot open for the New England Patriots. What are your thoughts on this?
Did not expect any of it. Honestly. It's just what I would just mind our business here. And then when I saw the news that Wes is is in the PUP list, injury list, it's ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah, I was not surprised that he was going to be like a long-term solution. He was more of like a camp body at this point, but didn't think he would retire mid off-season. Like, the season didn't even start and he already retired, and we signed him to like a 1 year, $1 million deal. But it's not like one of those 1 years and like $9 million or $10 million deals where he's on his last legs, because basically he did nothing for the Jets last season, and he wasn't like the same ever since his time with the Commanders and the Falcons, as far as I'm concerned, which explains why Cole Strange has been getting so many reps at left guard. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, how's he do here? How do you think he might do at guard?
It's going to be miserable, considering that he has a whole history with injuries left and right, especially that knee injury that he suffered in 2023. I don't know how he's going to hold up. And I don't know if Cole Strange would even survive in this league, considering that he didn't play reps at center and he's going back to his left guard position, which he has drafted before. And Gerard, exactly. He's like Chuksa Okorafor when he quit after the first game. But that was only because Chuksa Okorafor was ass during the final preseason game, allowing sacks and penalties. Thank goodness that we got rid of him. But on the other side, we're going to talk about some of the takeaways. But first, we're going to be talking about the attendance for the final day of mandatory minicamp. And so the players who were absent, well, technically not absent, but who did not participate, were Matt Collins, Miles Battle, Tavai, still recovering from that leg injury that he had in the final day of OTAs. Then we have Tyrese Robinson, and then Wes Schweitzer, who we now know has officially hang up the cleats and calls it a career. And then those who were limited were Jalen Polk, Stephon Diggs, Marte Mapu, Kyle Duggar, Jared Wilson, Wilfred Penne, and Mike Onwenu. So that's going to be your attendance for today's final day of practice. So let's talk about the offense. We're going to start with the quarterback. So compared to the final day of OTAs and the first day of mandatory minicamp, I thought that the offense in general, I think they kind of took a little step back because defense they applied a whole lot of pressure as far as we know, and Drake May kind of took a little step back. He didn't have like the worst day, but he certainly didn't have a best day, as it was reported that Drake May he threw for he completed 9 passes out of 14 passes, and he only had 1 interception. And then Joshua Dobbs, he completed 9 passes out of 15 passes, and then Ben Wooldridge 2 out of the 5 passes. So, what were your thoughts on the quarterbacks today, Thomas?
Again, messed up because, like you said, the defense has been taking a shot out of the gun. But I still think the quarterbacks did decent. But again, it's just practice. We'll see what they can do in full pads.
Yeah, everything is just practice because people just shot up the gun, especially with the media saying that, oh, they overreact because of the interceptions or the turnovers and the sacks, but it's just practice. And he's going up against one of the more better defenses than what he had last season, so I'm not surprised. In addition, that he took 2 sacks, which I'm not surprised. I think that it just shows that the defense looked a lot better. What are your thoughts on the defense taking a huge step with the pressure?
Way better than we had the previous 3 years because New England is known for a great defense because we used to have Bill Belichick, who was a defensive mind, as a matter of fact. I'm sorry to say this, without Bill Belichick, a defensive-minded coach, we would have the best defenses in the National Football League, top 5 for that matter.
Oh yeah, I think that even though without Bill Belichick, I just felt like where I'm going to say this again, the defense took a massive step back, and with Mike Vrabel being in the building, I'm going to say this again, the team in general looked a lot better, both offense and defense and special teams. So I love to see that. But let's now head over to the running backs, and there's nothing much from the running backs. However, I do have a clip from CLNS Media about Travion Henderson's speed, if I can find it. But I saw a clip of him showing his speediness, and he looked really impressive. If I could find it at some point, but we'll talk about it later. But I can tell you, when I saw that clip of his speed, okay, I think I have it, and then I can like play this. So here's the clip. I'm going to start from the beginning. What are your thoughts on Travion Henderson's speed?
Yeah, I was not surprised he has that. Like, again, when he played snaps with Ohio State, with freaking C.J. Stroud, with freaking Will Howard, still, that doesn't change the fact here. He has might be the most tremendous. He's might be the most speedy running backs has been lived in college football. And still, if we have something like this, if we use it, like, even though if we can't use him as a running back, possibly use him as part of punt returns, kick return, whatever that happens here, still key factor for this team.
Yeah, I still don't understand why there are a couple of fans saying that we should have got Ashton Jeanty. Henderson looked a lot better than Ashton Jeanty in general, because,
to be honest, Jeanty is the number 1 running back prospect in the draft. Like, he has good speed, like, but he is one of these, what is it, a power back. Like, compare that to freaking, what's his damn name? Marshawn Lynch. He compared to that. Like, again, I don't know what, the last time we have a Marshawn Lynch type of running back, it was LeGarrette Blount. I don't think there's anybody can replace Blount or anyone here for this team. But we never had a guy with speed like freaking Travion Henderson at all.
Oh yeah, exactly. I just feel like now with Travion Henderson in the building, I just feel like we have a little more depth at running back than what we originally were going to have. Because if we didn't draft a running back, considering that last draft, that previous draft class, it was running back heavy. We would have been stuck with Steven turning the ball
Steve,
over, and then Gibson on his, I wouldn't say on his last legs, but
no, he's one of the he's more like a receiving back than running the football. The
yeah.
more I can say last year.
Mm-hmm. But I think that with better depth, I think that I think that the running back room, even with regardless of how bad the offensive line is, we wouldn't have it. We would the running backs that we would have, they wouldn't excel with the crappy O line that we originally had. But I'm gonna read some of your comments, and as usual, guys, as you comment, please make sure that you smash the like button and hit subscribe. It helps supports the channel, and it's completely free. And as you comment, as usual, please post in your questions and your comments, and we could read them and then include them in our discussion. And as far as I'm looking at this, I see Gerard saying, I'm going to start with the earliest comments to the latest comments. So, yeah, I'm going to start with Gerard. He said that it's kind of good to see Dobbs getting some reps with all the wide receivers going for a roster spot. What are your thoughts on that comment?
It definitely absolutely 100% true here. Getting Dobbs get some reps here to get a feel on what our receiver is we have here. I don't know what his previous team was. I think it was Arizona, which they're not even known but their freaking receivers at this rate here. They're one of the worst teams in the AFC West, and I still think they're going to be the worst team in the AFC West. I don't trust their O line. I don't trust their receivers. I highly don't trust their head coach at all.
Oh, the
So
NFC
having
West.
because it's right now it's between freaking San Francisco and freaking Rams this year, but have him going to a team that definitely solidified the wide receiver room here. Probably a better fit in my opinion here as a backup quarterback.
And to continue with that, John did say that seems to me that Dobbs is going to be a better backup quarterback than Brissett. What are your thoughts on that?
It's debatable, honestly. It's completely debatable. Um,
Yeah,
it's debatable, honestly. Here, Jonathan. I'm sorry. I was a like Jacoby is known to be in the Patriots system. He got drafted to this team, and plus he is a high quality vet for that team last year. Even though he got sacked over and over and over and over again because how garbage our offensive line is, he still get him on his fucking feet and literally solidify what he is. He's a versatile quarterback that you desperately need to help Drake May out. Without Jacoby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Without Jacoby, there won't be there is no developing Drake May. I'm sorry.
yeah, I don't disagree because I thought that with Brissett as a veteran presence, I felt like Drake May, regardless of how bad the coaching staff looked, I felt like it was a successful season because we saw reps from Drake May from week 6 to I would say week 17. He looked like what we all expected, a lot better than what we expected even though the offensive staff improved a lot, regardless of the circumstances. I just felt it was a successful season with Drake May. Now that he has Josh McDaniels with another veteran with the same archetype, I think that it's going to look a lot better for Drake May.
Yes.
And Jonathan brings up this is for the running backs, and then we'll get to the wide receivers later. And he said that I think Gibson will probably be better this year. I think our new offensive line of running backs coaches will help with that. unless he gets beaten out by Land Larison outright. Land Larison, I haven't heard much from him throughout OTAs or minicamp, but that's just because there's so much of Henderson, there was so much of Stevenson. What are your thoughts on Gibson being like outside looking in? Could potentially be kicked out from the 53-man roster.
I don't know, to be honest. Like again, like I said about Gibson, he's more like a receiving back, honestly. But like honestly, like Larson, like you said, we have not heard his name at all in training camp. But again, we have to wait until training camp out next month or so here. So, but I still think more likely Gibson's going to be our running back 3 to be our receiving back. Yada yada yada. So
Yeah, so that's not well. We'll find out, and as we all know that the Patriots did announce the dates for when the whole entire community would be available to go to training camp. And I have the dates, but we will get to that later today. But let's now head over to the wide receivers. It was also recorded that Demario Douglas caught a crosser against Carlton Davis for a third down conversion. I love it when I see a third year wide receiver going up against a who is it? A veteran in Carlton Davis. What are your thoughts with Demario Douglas getting that production he needs?
I think definitely great. Definitely great. But I want to point something out here with Carlton Davis before I talk about Douglas here. Honestly, he's not just a veteran. He's a Super Bowl champion with the Tampa Bay Bucks, who played with Tom Brady, as a matter of fact, one of the greatest of all time. And he is the guy and he went to Detroit, helping them out go to the playoffs. Like he is one of the top 10 best quarterbacks in the damn league. And having him going against freaking someone like Demario Douglas, definitely get the boost against definitely help someone out here when you had to go against probably the toughest corners in the damn league in 2025. So definitely enjoy to see Demario get some positive good reps.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Carlton Davis, we'll definitely get to the cornerbacks. Carlton Davis, we all know he's a veteran, and he deserves that contract that we gave him. He did a good job of developing first round pick Terrion Arnold, and he was around Amik Robertson, I think, who was with the Raiders and then drafted by the Lions. I felt like what Carlton Davis did, in spite of that jaw injury, I think he did a great job of helping that secondary, making plays for them in spite of his injury history, which I'm so excited to see Carlton Davis as long as he stays healthy. But with Demario Douglas, yeah, we can understand he's another one of those players who has been injury for. I don't know. He's not the most durable wide receivers in the league, but if he gets the proper coaching, well, with Josh McDaniels, since we obviously know that this regime never drafted Demario Douglas, so it's hard to see what we could see from Demario Douglas with a brand new regime, but I'm hoping and praying that he could excel with this new coaching staff.
Yes.
And let's now head over to the tight ends. And I could say that the play of the day was within the tight end room, and it was Hunter Henry making a one-handed grab on a crosser with Jabril Peppers in coverage. Looked like May's second read. And we say this about Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry is one of my favorite tight ends since Gronkowski. So what were your thoughts on Hunter Henry still making plays at the age of 30?
Probably better tight end than we did have after freaking Tom Brady, after Gronk. But still, yeah, with the contract we gave him here, like it's still favorable in my opinion. But yeah, he's a great great target for Drake because he's like favorable to pass it to here. But yeah, I'd like having Hunter Henry into this regime. I don't know how long we're gonna keep him though here, but again, having him around with this offense with Josh McDaniels, cannot wait to see what we're gonna get out of him in 2025 here.
Well, I do know that on during his first year with the Patriots, I know he looked great under Josh McDaniels. He had the most touchdowns in the league that year out of all tight ends, 9 touchdowns for a tight end. I think that was Mac Jones at the time, his favorite weapon. So
Yes,
I'm excited. Regardless, I know Hunter Henry's on his last legs. He still has one more year on his deal. Well, this is currently his second year on his contract extension, but as long as he plays at a high level as a veteran, I think he could potentially be like a Patriots Hall of Fame, you know what I mean? Even though he hasn't been a Pro Bowler in his entire career, but who
yeah,
knows? So there was nothing for the offensive line combination. So we don't know what the offensive combination looked like. But what we do know is that there was a lot of that the offensive line couldn't. They didn't have the heat to go up against all that pressure from the defensive line. And as we know, the defensive line, they look disgusting, I would say. Well, yeah. I think that the defensive line in general, it looked disgusting in general because they were applying a lot of pressure, getting onto Drake May. So I felt like that was an ultimate test for the offensive line in general. So, um, and we all know that Cole Strange is working with the first team offensive line at left guard. I cannot believe he's back at left guard because there are even though there's so many question marks with the left guard heading into the regular season. So Dustin did say yesterday that not everything is going to happen with a snap of the finger. Like, not everything's going to be happening in like one night or one day.
right.
But yeah. However, I'm going to continue reading your questions. As a reminder, guys, continue posting your questions and comments. We wanna get your thoughts in, but this is a question from Gerard, and it goes for both of us. So he asked, what was your favorite story throughout minicamp? I'll start with you, and then I'll get to mine.
Honestly, I would say Chisholm. Honestly, the guy that we have for the UDFA, the guy that we should the people in Boston media said that he's like the I don't know, might be the next Julian Edelman, yada yada. But if he gets, I think that if he gets more promising stuff at training camp and get it in pads, hell, he could be one of the big targets as wide receiver 3 or even slot wide receiver in this team.
Interesting. Also, John is telling me that there's an echo on my live stream right now, so I don't think there's any issues as far as I can tell. But if there's any issues, please remind me because I'm always willing to change the settings. So let me just see. I'm just gonna see if there's I think that I set it to echo cancellation, so I don't think I've had any issues right now. But okay.
No echo. There's no echo cord in the chat here. Good. Absolutely.
Okay,
good.
So if something has to do with you, Jonathan, I'm sorry, but let's head over to the next question from another question from Gerard. He asked us, do you think Lan Larson will beat out Antonio Gibson? I think he's almost ahead. We do need more running back. Well, more free safety? I don't understand the question. I don't understand the second part. What I do understand is, do you think Lan Larson will beat out Antonio Gibson?
I don't know. It's a competition I cannot even freaking answer, honestly.
Yeah, that's a really good that's a good competition. Like you're bound to have. Mike Vrabel said you need to have some competition. in the entire throughout the entire practice, because without competition, it's going to be meaningless. Like, there isn't proper that it tells me that there's no proper coaching staff. There's no proper development. You don't have a good offensive coordinator. So I love the competition. I think that's a good answer you gave out, Thomas. I just feel like there's some good. I feel like regardless of whatever happens, I think Len Larison and Antonio Gibson, they're going to pan out throughout training camp with the pads on. It will depend on it with the pads on, but let's now head over to the defensive line.
Oh boy!
And
like you said, that they're disgusting against that offensive line.
Yeah, but well, John is telling me through DMs, he says that he had another video on YouTube going, and it automatically started on your stream on another tab. Interesting. So, got to know. But let's talk about the defensive line. And my gosh, the defensive line wreak havoc.
Yeah, the fact you have Milton Williams, you're a Super Bowl champion. You got Barmore's gonna come back. You have freaking Keon White. Like, dude, if you have a line like that, I'm sorry. What else can you do against that line? I'm way excited for that defensive line.
Exactly, especially Milton Williams racking up 1 sack, Keon White racking 1 sack, Clavon Chason with 1 more sack. And it was reported that Chason saw more work with the first team defense today. Could you see Chason being that first round player that he was projected to be?
I mean, he should have been a first round or second round pick. Like, I
think he was a first round pick, but I don't think he was like worthy with the Jaguars. But that's because Jaguars are going to jag. And then all of a sudden, when he went to the Raiders, and he looked a lot better with the Raiders. So this year is a prove it year, because if Chason proves that he could be that first rounder that he was in LSU, he could be worthy of like a 3-year or 2-year deal extension. And I agree with Andy. He said this interior D-line is going to be at the top of the NFL. Exactly. I'm so excited for this. And with Terrell Williams back and healthy, he's going to cook up that defensive line like it's nothing.
Yeah, but I'm way excited for that D-line. Especially that we got freaking Milton Williams. Like, he was supposed to go to Carolina, but it's a huge swerve, and he went to go to New England. I was like, we actually got a most underrated defensive tackle in the damn league. Like, dude, like, you have no idea how excited Patriots fans should be about Milton Williams. He is the guy who sat one of the most elite quarterbacks in the National Football League out of Patrick Mahomes. That is something that no defensive line, most underrated D line in the league, cannot even do. If you find a way to sack great quarterbacks, like for example Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, or even Joe Burrow, if you can sack those type of quarterbacks in this fucking league, hell,
exactly.
Just go. You could be in the fucking roster.
Oh, exactly. Speaking of defense, John brings up a question. He brings up a point saying that Mike Vrabel said defensive coordinator Terrell Williams is nearing a return. That's some great news. What are your thoughts on a return?
Great. Absolutely great. Absolutely great. Like you said, he's going to cook this defense. He's going to cook that defense. Especially now that we actually got a good defensive coordinator that is not going to be garbage like, goddamn, what's his name? DeMarcus Covington.
Yeah.
Who is up? Which we're looking for that ass, and he deserves an F.
Perfect. That looks perfect. Also, John did say that Barmore has been working out a lot. Has been lifting and stuff, I saw. Do you think Barmore's going to make a comeback, potentially being the Patriots comeback player of the year that we all expect?
He will. He will. Honestly, I believe in Barmore. I believe in it. After we draft him in 2021, he still looked good. Like, if he come back from a blood clot, hell, he's going to be a combat player for the Patriots. I'm not sure about combat player for the rest of the league. That's what remains to be seen.
Yeah, there are so many players that could potentially be comeback player of the year, but for the Patriots, yeah. But for the league, it's too debatable. But
Debatable,
Jonathan,
yeah.
he also said that I'm pretty excited about Tonga and that other nose tackle we got. I love big chubby dudes on the D line. Those exactly mammoth run stuffers. John, I love you, man. If you continue, if you say one more good comment, I'm gonna make you a mod for this channel. I appreciate you, man. Always supporting us, supporting you as always. What are your thoughts of that comment?
I mean, when's the last time we have a nose tackle for the Patriots defense?
Vince Wilfork? I don't know.
Yeah, Tonga. I don't have much info on Tonga, but he's like, again, like John said here, he is a big fat dude. God damn it! But if you have a big fat dude like him, dude, I mean, it's worth it. Jonathan said he's like 337 pounds. So
yeah, that's impressive, dude.
I mean, I don't know how he does last season with the Cardinals. Like, I haven't watched Arizona football last year because I'm way paying attention to the AFC side here. But if he could play better than what he did at Arizona, I think he'll be a good nose tackle since Wilfork.
Oh yeah, exactly. And let's now head over to the linebackers. Oh, there's a lot for the linebackers. So Cam Bradley, he had 2 pass breakups, even though he's bound to be like your depth piece. I bet you for the linebackers because there's so much depth at linebacker. What shocked me today was Marte Mapu worked with the linebackers. And I know when we drafted Marte Mapu, he was projected to be a linebacker, and then for some oddball reason, he was transitioned over to safety. Do you think Marte Mapu should be a linebacker or a safety? Because that's a debatable question.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. This is something that we're going to be me and a couple guys from the Patriots clubhouse will be discussing in a defensive back live stream discussing Marte Mapu because when he was drafted, he was going to be a what was it? He was going to be like that linebacker, but man, I think he should be this is something debatable. We don't know what Terrell Williams is going to work with Marte Mapu, since considering that this regime never drafted Marte Mapu.
Like, I mean, like, you got the safeties you have. I mean, but if you want to transition to linebacker, then I mean, if he fits well as a linebacker, then transition to linebacker. I don't know.
Yeah,
but again here, if you put him at safety, you could have him behind, like what Jonathan said, and put him behind like Craig Woodson.
Yeah, exactly. If he continues to play like a linebacker, he could be like that versatile player. I wouldn't say he wouldn't be like the best safety, considering that we have enough depth at safety. But if he could be like that versatile player that he is, and he stands out for the defense, mine's all means. Terrell Williams would cook up and make this guy look like one of those Pro Bowlers. But yeah, that's my take on Marte Mapu. We'll definitely discuss this later on Saturday, discussing defensive backs. But Another thing that stood out today was that linebackers also, particularly Gibbons, Monte Rice, and Cam Riley. The one person that I'm intrigued about is Jack Gibbons, and I love Jack Gibbons. The moment that we signed him through free agency, do you think that Jack Gibbons could potentially make the 53-man roster and be that leader that he is?
Why not? Why not? If he thinks if he could lead this linebacker room to the promised land here, then sure, why not?
Oh yeah. And let's head over to the cornerbacks. And oh my word, the cornerbacks looked. Christian Gonzalez looked like Christian Gonzalez of old. It was reported that Christian Gonzalez caught a one-handed interception on a goal ball to Kyle Williams, and that was the interception. Iron sharpening iron. That's what Dustin said yesterday. Do you think this is iron sharpening iron, considering that Drake May did say yesterday about like going up against Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez are like a true test for Drake May, considering that a first rounder going up against another first rounder. What are your thoughts on that?
It is. When you go to like Drake said here, like when you go against somebody that is top tier corner in the damn league, it is a true tester. You going against you probably go against other top corners in the National Football League. There's some good freaking defensive players like from Baltimore, from Cincinnati, or I don't have a damn clue, or even freaking Tampa Bay. They have good players on the defensive side of the ball that you can have a test against. But our corners, dude, we probably like with Carlton Davis, like I said, Super Bowl champion with Tampa Bay, a veteran on the helm, and with Gonzo on the side here, we probably have the best freaking corner duo in the damn league. Probably the best corner duo in the Patriots, if I add.
Exactly. I think that Carlton with Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez, that cornerback duo is going to look scary for all fans, and it's going to hype up a lot of fans. But obviously, we don't want to be that optimistic. But
yes.
Speaking of cornerbacks, John asked us, what do you think about Isaiah Bolden getting what would have been a pick six in the first minicamp practice? So it was reported yesterday that Isaiah Bolden did pick off Joshua Dobbs during yesterday's minicamp practice. Do you think that Isaiah Bolden could potentially be in a 53-man roster?
Maybe he'll be like a corner 3 or 4 here. That be on the helm here. Not gonna say that he's not gonna be in the roster because honestly, after what happened here when he was a rookie, when he had that bad scare against Green Bay in the preseason, dude, we're all worried about his health, man. But
we all do.
Like if he cannot cut as corner, put him as a special teams guy.
That's what he said. He has a special teams ability. Agree. I think that he will look great under Springer's special teams. I think that special teams is the best he could do, along with Marcel Stiles. But save that question for later, Jonathan, because we're definitely going to be discussing cornerbacks this upcoming Saturday. So keep that question in your notes as we will potentially discuss that. But Jamie, a Chiefs fan, he comes in saying, Denver will probably have the number 1 defense in the league this season. Chiefs should probably have a top 5 and top 7. The Denver defense, they've been the best in spite of Manning's retirement. I think that Denver with Patrick Surtain II, he's gonna look disgusting. And with KC, Steve Spagnuolo, the kryptonite for the Patriots during that Super Bowl between the Giants. No surprise.
Yeah, probably the best defensive coordinator in the damn league. I'm not the only reason Kansas City is still going to have a good season is because of that defense. Not going to say they're going to be top. They're not going to be around top 7 here. Probably 5 or 6. But I agree with Denver. The time I saw Denver's defense last season, what am I watching? I thought that Denver is going to be like a third best team in the league. Nope, nope, not what I saw last year. What
Oh,
Pat Surtain, disgusting,
mm-hmm.
disgusting.
Yep, Vance Joseph, he will look horrible as a head coach. He looked great as a defense coordinator. Vance
For damn
Joseph,
sure.
yeah, I think that Denver should definitely give him like a contract extension as a defensive coordinator because Denver is worthy of having one of the best defensive coordinators in Vance Joseph. But let's continue with the cornerbacks since we slowly kind of getting away with the defense. But it was also reported that Marcus Jones broke up a corner to Kyle Williams after the wide receivers seemingly hauled it in to prevent a touchdown. The running theme with the cornerbacks is going up against Kyle Williams, and I know Kyle Williams, he's going to be one of those great wide receivers. Do you
Yes.
think that Kyle Williams technically had a bad day, or is just because he's going up against those top tier cornerbacks in Jones and Gonzalez?
It's gonna be a mixture of both. It's probably a bad day, but again, you're going against a new and improved defense compared to the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, and I know I'm so excited to see this secondary as a whole. And I'm gonna say this again: this defense has been the most improved, similar to what it was in 2021. But I'll take it back and say that we're gonna be like those 2014 Patriots defense, you know, with
Yeah.
Darrell Rivers, Browner, and then Butler.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that. We have Revis, who used to play for the Jets. Dude, he solidifies this team so well. Browner, definitely a fan of him when we won that Super Bowl against the freaking Seahawks. That defense back then absolutely solidifies this defense.
Exactly. And John did say he came back and saying Kyle Williams going up against some pretty good cornerbacks. So I don't think too much about it if he has a bad day or two. Exactly. It's like this is just practice. You're going to, because we know Kyle Williams, he didn't have much of that competition in college, but going up
No.
against what he's potentially going to be having, considering that the Patriots in years past have a consistent good defense, this is iron sharpening iron, like I alluded to. This is like preparing for what he's going to be going up against in the league. You're going up against your Sauce Gunners, your Christian Benfords, your Marlon Humphreys, your I don't know, your Joey Porters, your AJ Terrells, and even JC Horn, who I think he should not got that extension, but I owe my means. But now onto the safeties. It was also reported that Craig Whitson again getting 2 passing breakups. Do you think that Craig Whitson, and we obviously know, you and I, we took a look at some of his tape. I think Craig Woodson has it. I think that if he performs well with pads on, Craig Woodson would definitely be like a second team All Pro, be like the next Devin McCourty.
He's definitely be on the roster, and he's definitely going to be a second All Pro as a rookie, dude. Like I said, I watch a lot of college football in my life, and I already saw the game that Woodson is in when he played against probably the best ACC teams last season out of Miami. If you go in against top tier teams like this and you play great defense like this, like that, solidified yourself in the pros. And what he did at the practice at this point, if he continues that, if he goes on pads here, agreed. Probably a second team All Pro, probably the best rookie corners in the league.
Oh, yeah. To answer your question, Jonathan, about Mac Hollins, if he was absent, so you're actually incorrect, Jonathan. So Mac Hollins was not absent. However, he has been attending practice. However, he's just been not participating, and I don't know why he hasn't been participating, considering he may have an injury. But I don't think Mac Hollins is gonna release, considering of how much production has been working with the young wide receivers during OTAs and mandatory minicamp. That's good at least. It's better than holding out of practice.
Yeah, I don't see him getting released. Like, Mac Hollins is still a good receiver, a decent receiver that you can have someone on the helm as a second or third team offense. Like, still, I don't see him getting released anytime soon here. He's more like a freaking solid receiver that you need, that you can have here. If we lose some receivers, like for example, we lose Diggs, or we might lose Kyle Williams, or we lose, like, I don't know, Jamal Douglas. He's a decent receiver that can pass it to. Like, he played with Josh Allen last season, and he still played good football.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think we all thought. I think that after looking at the Craig Woodson live stream, I think it was like one of our best live streams. And it's just proves that time and time again. Craig Woodson, one of the most underrated. I thought he was one of the more overvalued players in the draft, like overreach. But at that level, through to practice without the pads, I think he's looked impressive so far. But
Yeah.
let's now head over to the special teams, the final thing, and then we're going to transition to quotes of the days. But so no surprise that Andreas Borgales went 4 out of 4 in field goals, while John Parker Roma went for 3 and 4. Oh, not surprised. It was not that perfect, but
No, not
it's
that perfect.
It's not that bad. It's better than having depth, a good kicker for depth, than having a crappy kicker at depth.
Right.
And it was reported for field goal attempts, there were 33 yards, 40 yards, 45 yards, and a 50-yarder. I love what Borgales has been doing so far. He's been really, really consistent. But the question is, can he do it in some of these weather conditions? It's either in the rain, in the cold, in the wind, and even in snow. That's going to be a huge question.
Yeah, that's definitely a question. I don't know. But I honestly believe I honestly gonna believe in Borgales.
Yeah. And you just answered the question. Who do you think is going to win the kicker battle? Borgales. As a rookie. 100%.
Borgales. For sure. Like, if he could easily Borgales at this rate.
Exactly. But that's going to be it for the takeaways. Let's now transition to them quotes. And let's take out some. So we did discuss about the Mike Vrabel did saying that Terrell Williams will be back soon. We just don't like a timetable yet, as he is getting more healthy, and that's what you love to hear as Pat fans. So
Yes.
Let's take a look at some of the like quotes from some of these players, and we're going to start off with Efton Chisholm, and he stated that wait, let me find that video. I think it's from Mike Reese. Let me see if it's from Mike Reese. Hold on, let me just find that video if I can, and then because I thought what Chisholm said when he was asked during his press conference, I thought it looked really good. So I think I have the video. Let's play it in 3, 2, 1, go. Wait, no, hold on. No, it's not sharing. Oh, I just realized that. Hold on, let me just share that video. So this is the clip from Efton Chisholm on what's allowed him to have success so far.
I just think coming with the mindset of nothing's guaranteed. Nobody owes me anything, trying to take advantage of every opportunity I get. If that's a scout team rep or if that's a special teams rep with whatever it is, and then building the QB's trust to where they want to throw me the ball.
What are your thoughts on that clip from Chisholm?
Yeah, I kind of agree with this. I kind of agree with him with this, right?
Yeah, especially when he's been working with all the quarterbacks, with all the teams, like first team, second team, especially with the backups and the starters. After Chisholm's definitely going to make the 53-man roster. No denies. I hope that he could do well with them pads on. If he does well with pads on, oh my gosh, he's gonna look disgusting as a weapon for us. He's gonna look like Drake May's favorite wide receivers. But this is a quote from Stephon Diggs on what he likes about his connection with Drake May. Here it is. This is an interesting take from Stephon Diggs.
Drake May so far.
I like him. You know what I'm saying? I just I can't say too much because I haven't been out there much. But as far as like personality wise, he a dog. You can tell he's a dog from the get go. I can see he's committed to the process. He wants to play well. I know he's been here all spring, so just to see him out there. And as far as like when I get back, he's been real helpful too. Like he know I haven't been here as much. I've been trying to get right. I just been trying to get right mentally and physically. As far as like being in the right space, I want my body to be in the right space. So when it's time to go, I'm right there for him.
I love the quote that he said. Well, I just hope it's not like what happened in Buffalo when he towards the very end of his tenure in Buffalo, he somewhat didn't go too well with Josh Allen, as we all know.
It's Buffalo. It's Buffalo. I don't think it's gonna happen. This is what happened to Buffalo, honestly. New England is way more of a communicational franchise here than Buffalo does. Buffalo is just full of drama class 101, yada yada yada. With New England here, I don't see any drama here. I don't see any of that with frickin' Diggs.
Yeah, with Vrabel, I don't think that's good. I don't think it's bound to happen.
No.
Jameson, this is a funny quote for Jamie. I'm just laughing at this. If Andy Reid retired last season, we should have swiped Vrabel from you. Bruh. That's just a bruh moment. But yeah, let me see. He was also asked if what his plans are for week 1. Here is his response. This is Stephon Diggs' response, and I think this is going to be the final quote that we're going to look at today because that other video that I was going to show, it's about that boat situation, and I do not want to get into that boat situation. But here is what his plan is to be ready for week 1.
What is your plan to be ready to go by week 1?
Oh, great question.
I was trying to, I figured football would be
we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I'm making the rules. I'm grinding each and every day, though. Obviously, I can't do too much of the team stuff, but I'm eager to get out there. So whenever they do press the button, I'm gonna be ready. I'm grinding though every day.
I love that. I love that quote from Stephon Diggs about if he's gonna be ready for week 1 because we all know that Stephon Diggs did suffer that ACL tear in Houston, and we all know that Stephon Diggs, we all know that he's been working out. I know you've been very vocal about the situation and in the Patriots Global Discord. So, what was your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really vocal about Diggs. Like if he gets released from this bolt situation, I mean, I really don't give a crap about this anyway. But still, I still think he's ready for week 1, or even week 2. That matter against Miami. He's a pro. This is the reason why we grabbed Diggs. I don't think he's gonna be the same receiver as he once was and get 1,000 yards. I really hope he gets 1,000 yards this season, but I'm not gonna get ahead of myself here. But Diggs is a vet at this point, and he wants to get out there and help the young guns, whatever they need, especially Drake May.
Oh, exactly, and I agree with Jonathan. And you've been DMing me a whole lot of tweets on Diggs' workouts, and this is what he said. Diggs definitely has been grinding. He's been showing out his workout videos a lot. So
Which he
basically,
has.
that boat situation with the pig substance, that situation has been overblown within like hours after I saw it, because I'm like, there's no way that's bound to happen. And he said it himself. This is something personal for Stephon Diggs, and I don't know why the Boston media has been harking about this situation. I just think that it's ridiculous from the Boston media in general.
Yeah, he even said this. He said this on ESPN. Said a tweet about 17 minutes ago. He says, "I do not want to talk about my personal life with people I don't personally know personally." Which
And
is
he said that he doesn't want to talk about the conversation with Mike Vrabel.
it is something between him and Vrabel alone, not something to blare out to media. Which definitely, Stephon Diggs did a good job here, trying to keep it to himself.
But yeah, that's going to be it for the quotes. And now we're slowly going to transition to some of your remaining comments, and then we're going to call it for today. But so he did say that, John did say that Mike Vrabel also does not really seem too worried about it, but the media has been losing their minds. Well, we do know that Mike Vrabel was not satisfied about this situation, because either he was not happy that the media has been constantly asked about this situation, but it's just crazy. Especially, here's the thing: I have so much respect for CLNS media. It's like one of the only sources that I would go for information and stuff. But when it comes to like 98.5 and that other crap, people just complain about stuff on Diggs, and especially that bow stream. And here is my good buddy DF. What did I say about Diggs? and his
drama.
Oh my goodness, Dwayne, you never fail me. We'll discuss this later, but I think this is overblown, and so many people outside of New England think that this is some big deal, considering that Stephon Diggs is a celebrity and he's dating a celebrity in a Cardi B, and we all know about his personal life.
Yeah, which is a fact here. Cardi B is going to be the host at WWE SummerSlam 2025 at East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Also, what were also? I saw a video of Stephon Diggs. People in our Discord has been saying get rid of Diggs because we saw a video of him dancing at his sister's wedding. What are your thoughts on that?
Blasphemous! Absolutely blasphemous! Like, it's his sister's wedding, for crying out loud. Like I DM'd you about freaking Alex Cora had to be with like her daughter's freaking graduation at Boston.
Exactly.
Like if he wants to attend his sister's wedding, let him. This is a personal thing. Like, I'm sorry. Like, family is way more important than freaking OTAs. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Also, John brings up a... Wait, go ahead.
And whoever said about this, you get an F.
This is a definite meme. I love that. But John did say, so as long as he produces on the field, then I don't really care about what does off of it, as so long as he doesn't get suspended, or released for it. Exactly. Who cares if Stephon Diggs went to his sister's wedding to have a good time? It's his sister's wedding. I just don't get it.
I really don't get it either.
Dwayne says it perfectly. Typical media, making something of nothing, LOL. I don't disagree with your statement, DF. And
really cannot even disagree with that here. With frickin' media, want to frickin' make money and make clicks. That's an F.
Once again, I love it. Oh, And here's I think we already answered your question, Gerard, about what your favorite story out of the OTAs or minicamp. It has to be the Chisholm story. Time and time again, I love to see if Chisholm can be that guy of why he should prove everybody wrong for why he should have been drafted instead of being undrafted. I can't wait to see all these stories of like him being, I wouldn't say him being like the next Julian Edelman or like Danny Amendola or Chris Hogan or Wes Walker. But as long as he produces and he performs well in preseason and training camp with the pads on, no surprise that he should be on the spot for the 53-man roster. That's been the biggest story. The second biggest story for me is Craig Woodson. Is Craig Woodson popping off, even though he has been overreached by so many draft analysts. I think that Craig Woodson, time and time again, he's going to be that guy. He's going to be like your next Pro Bowler.
Look what Gerard said in the chat about Diggs.
I don't mind Diggs either. Wouldn't let him date my sister, though. Yeah. But yeah, I just hope. I think the big storyline, another thing is, as long as Diggs performs well, regardless of whatever the hell that happened, we should be fine.
Yeah, Diggs should be fine. Come on. They're like, I am with what? What?
I don't know. With a bunch
but
of randomness.
Yeah, but again, with media talking about freaking Diggs, like outside of Boston sports, like, come on.
Exactly.
People want to make they want to click on the link just to get some clicks, which I'm sorry. That's an F.
And
it's for real.
DF, a Buffalo Bill fan, says it closely because obviously Diggs play for the Bills, so we have a Buffalo Bill fan here. He said, but the thing is, Dig can head to the mic and shut up some of this nonsense and doesn't.
Yeah.
And then he said, 100% Diggs will get drug tested this preseason. But Diggs could open his God-given gift, his mouth, and stop much of this. As long as he doesn't run up to the media, just barks to the whole entire public about this situation, we should be fine. And
yeah, we should be fine, yes.
Exactly. As long, whatever that pink substance was, whether it was Charbet, strawberry, whatever it was, if it was strawberry Charbet, it should be fine. It's not like that 2C, whatever it is. As long as it's Charbet, but I think we should.
Yeah, because, like, I'm sorry, like, that does not look like crack cocaine or anything. Like, is crack cocaine pink?
No.
Yeah, thought so.
Well, funny.
Pink lemonade juicy fruit.
Yes, it's that kind of crap.
That
strawberry quick. But
that too.
But that's gonna be it for today's live stream. You can just say whatever you want, but thank you guys for joining on today's live stream. Me and Thomas will be back tomorrow, same time at 6 p.m. along with my good buddy Jaden, and we're gonna be discussing some quarterback rankings in the league, just to have some fun, guys. And as usual, please, before you leave the stream, please make sure that you smash the like button if you really, really enjoyed this stream. And you hit subscribe. It's completely free and helps support the channel. And comment down below your thoughts. We would love to hear your thoughts post-stream. And as always, my good friend, go Pats.